You know how we get down.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, boy!
Hey, this is Ed from Heights of Gaming. Time for Blue Card Set Review. I'm going to go over the cards that I think are good and constructed and limited. Armored Scab, not that great. Back from the Brink, too expensive. Also, it's a sorcery. It's nice that you can play cards from the graveyard, but they have to get there first, and then you got to pay 6, and then you got to pay more cards to summon them from your graveyard. Rather have a Titan, tell you the truth. Battleground Geist, pretty good. With Cackling Counterpart, it'd be nice if you could copy Battleground Geist with Cackling Counterpart and then have 2 of them pumping all your little spirits that you made with all the cards that we saw from white, you know, or maybe the ones that you're making from the land, stuff like that would be pretty cool. But otherwise, you know, I don't think either of these cards are really that strong. Cackling Counterpart requires you to have a monster on the field to use it. If you don't have a monster, it's pretty much a dead card. Civilized Scholar, in some ways he's better than Merfolk Looter, in other ways I don't feel like he's as good. He's got, when he transforms, he's only got a 1 defense, so he's not going to survive very well. So probably what's going to happen is you're going to use him to block something, then use the effect, draw a card, discard something, and you know, trade off with his other creature. The fact that he does turn to a 5/1 though means that your opponent may be interested in you know, not attacking because he's scared of the 5/1 and he doesn't really want to trade off. But the fact of the matter is, does he really want to allow you to draw a card and then discard a card every turn anyways? No. So I think that, you know, even if he had just a 1/1 or a 2/2 or maybe even just a 3/3, which he wouldn't be that crazy about trading off, but you know, I think that they'll just aggressively attack and go for it. And even if he dies, then they'll just start using their morbid abilities. So what are they going to not, you know, not attack? I think they're going to attack. So this guy, I think, is he's decent, but not as good as some may think. Claustrophobia, it taps the card. That's pretty nice. Usually blue doesn't get to tap the card before they you know, lock it down. So that's a little bit better than usual. Curiosity is awesome. If they're tapped out, you basically get to draw a card for free, and then every card after that is just you know, icing on the cake. It's really good. Delver of Secrets, 1 for a possible 3/2. Not that hard to turn to a 3/2, and you don't have to reveal the card. You may reveal the card. That's really good. I like Delver of Secrets a lot. I would draft it as a high pick. Ranged Assistant. Once again, we have a Merfolk Looter type effect, but he also adds 1 to the mana pool, allowing you to pay for things like, you know, counter spells, things like that. It's really cool. You know, you could get added bonuses by putting certain cards in the graveyard. I think this card is pretty awesome. The fact that he's a human, blue has a lot of humans that synergate well with the white cards as well. So let's take a look. Dissipate, there's a couple different cancel spells in the set, double blue and a colorless, but they are better. This one has a, instead of you know, putting the card into the graveyard, you get to exile it, making it so that they cannot you know, use those cards again. Dream Twist, you know, really kind of a card that really wants to work with this other card down here called Laboratory Maniac. Laboratory Maniac says if you draw a card and you have no cards in your deck, then you win the game. So Dream Twist can put Scabruinator or some flashback cards in your graveyard so you can use them later. Do you really want to use a mana to accelerate this particular you know, strategy? I don't really think so. You'd rather just be casting efficient creatures if you are a, you know, in limited environment. If you're in a constructed environment on the right deck, this may be the answer though, because it's pretty cheap and the flashback cost is also pretty cheap. Forbidden Alchemy, pretty much the same thing. You know, in constructed deck, it needs a deck that really wants to mill itself for certain reasons. Fortress Crab, not too sexy with 1 attack. Frightful Delusion is a card that people will have to play around. 1 colorless, 1 blue to counter the spell unless they pay 1. That's okay. You know, people will, if you have 3 mana open, they're going to think about this card. It's going to be a serious problem. Then they have to discard a card as well. That's really awesome. So, and either way, you're going to get the discard effect. So that could be something that's, you know, they've already used up 1 card from their hand, and then they're going to lose another card. You know, people will be, you know, trying to play around this card. So it could be definitely a game changer. They only have to pay 1, so it's not that great, but, you know, trust me, this card will be putting the hurt on some people. Grasp of Phantoms, a lot of people don't like this card because it's sorcery. Personally, I think it's not that bad. If you're paying 4 mana, you get to flip the card back to the top of the library. That means you're locking off the draw phase as well as taking care of the threat. I think it's reasonably costed, and the fact that it's not an instant is not the end of the world. It would be better definitely as an instant, but hey, we can't have it all. Invisible Stalker, pretty cool. Hex-proof, can't be blocked, but you can block other creatures. I think it's pretty nice. What else is here? This Lantern Spirit 3 for a 2/1 flyer, and then it has a possibility to flip back to your hand in case they try to remove it or do something to it. It's not as good as a Hexproof, but I think it's pretty solid. You could even, can you put damage and then return to the hand? No, because once counted damage, you can't do abilities on the stack. But they try to remove it or anything like that. They try to play any pump spells, things like that. So you can definitely block and then make them waste their their mana. So it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Lost in the Mist it seems overcosted to me. 5 mana to leave open to counter a spell and then return permanent to owner's hand. The effect is great, but the fact that you have to pay all that mana and leave it all open, that's just a lot of mana to be leaving open. You telling me seriously you don't have a 4-drop or a 5-drop spell that you could play from your hand? Doesn't seem that great. Ludovic's Tough Subject move is Abomination. Wow, it's really awesome. When this card comes out, you win the game. It does require an investment of about 12 mana to get to a 13/13 Trampler, just so you know. But in the right deck with maybe some counter spells going on, things like that, in a slower format, this guy can definitely be a serious threat to your opponent. Makeshift Mauler, it's 4 for 4/5. That's decent. If he had flying, it would be a lot better. Does not have flying. Does not have evasion. Mind Shrieker, Mirror Mad Phantasm, both really awesome. Maybe reasons to actually want to mill cards to your graveyard. I mean, Mirror Mad Phantasm, most cards graveyard, but Mind Shrieker is definitely, he's pretty cool. He accelerates to the graveyard and then he can pump up himself. He could trade off pretty well with the card, but you're also running a lot of land, so don't forget about that. You pay your money in the middle of land, and is that really what you want to do? But I do think he's a very solid card, and I would definitely take him as a higher pick. I wouldn't do him as a first pick, but I would take him pretty high. Murder of Crows, 5 for a 4/4 flyer. That's always threat and limited, and the fact that he has an additional ability, which is decent, I think makes him a higher pick in limited. Okay. Runic Repetition, return target exile card with flashback you own to your hand. You're paying 3 mana. You probably would play 3 mana just to play the spell again with a flashback. Just don't think it's that great. Sensory Deprivation, no. I think it's pretty whack. The Scab Goliath, 6 for 6/9. He's really awesome. He's huge and he has trample. It won't be that hard by the time you have 6 mana to put 2 creatures in the graveyard, especially considering all the ways that blue has to put cards in the graveyard. So I think this is very awesome, and the fact that he's a zombie adds like more synergies to the card. It's got Ruinator and Snapcaster Mage, 2 of the most hyped cards in the set. This one's a mythic, this one's a rare, this one's so cool that it's a rare. I'm very happy about that. And they're both awesome. They deserve the hype, and they're definitely bombs unlimited as well as in constructed. So definitely play them. Now let's take a look. Stitch Drake, 3 for a 3/4 flyer. That's pretty good. That's actually really good. I'm really happy. I would be happy to take that, even possibly first pick. Definitely not first pick over these guys, but if I just didn't have anything else in the pack, I would definitely think about taking that card. Let's see what else. Think Twice. I like that. 2 mana, draw a card, flashback, 3, draw a card again. Wow, that's pretty cool. With Snapcaster Mage, you're just drawing a lot of cards, a lot of card damage, and the Alchemist, it's solid. You know cards, you gain advantage. What's not to like? And also 4/2 body. I'll go for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out our next session when we do the black cards.
You know how we get down? Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah, boy!